Now, in the locker room, they're calling him the Terminator. They say he terminates all of the scoring drives. Well, he's hoping to get on a hot roll today.
All right, Merlin, and maybe a break for him because the Saints defense will take the field first. Morten Andersen kicking off. By Sikahima is back there along with Ricky Prohl, and he's got it at the goal line. And Prohl, gang tackled at about the 15-yard line. Tim Rosenbach coming out last week, but still looking for his first touchdown pass of the season. Will face a New Orleans defense, and it's a mighty fine one. Wayne Martin. Robert Kopp moves into nose tackle. Jim Wilkes switches from nose to right end. Backers, arguably the best in the league. Jackson, Mills, Johnson, and Swilling. And the secondary, Robert Massey and Toy Cook are the cornerbacks. Gene Atkins and Brett Maxey, the safety. And we have an injured player on the field. Might be Brian Ford, a linebacker on special teams. And it is Ford who's shaken up.
Talking to these two coaches about the way they're going to approach this game.
Buster and Anderson.
About Forcade's problems and the fact that the Saints really are saying we're a good enough team to win without great quarterback play, but we can't have the mistakes from the quarterback.
What does a delay like this at the start of a game do? Here the Cardinals all geared up to go on offense. Unfortunately, there's a player injury and they have to stand around waiting for the first play.
It certainly takes the momentum out of an offense. They're pumped up, they're ready to go, they get out there. I think the flip of the coin, the loss of the flip, a benefit for the New Orleans team. They wanted their defense on the field first.
And Ford is walking off the field with a minimum amount of help. The Cardinals will begin from the 15-yard line. And the Cardinals come out in spanking new uniforms, the red pants, Cardinal pants, a change from what they've worn for several years. 1st and 10 at the 15. And on a reverse, Anthony Thompson carries, goes up the middle and gets to about the 19-yard line. Let's check the rest of the Cardinal offense. That was J.T. Smith, who is one of the wide receivers. Louis Sharp, Derek Kennard, Bill Lewis, Lance Smith, and Tootie Robbins up front. Walter Reeves, the tight end. Johnny Johnson, the running back. The H-back is Ron Wolfley. Roy Green and J.T. Smith, who carried the ball on the reverse, the wide receivers. Gain of 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd down, and now Rosenbach goes to the sidelines, and the Cardinals have called maybe the earliest timeout I can remember.
Everybody's covered. Now Floyd Peters, the defensive coordinator of the Vikings, let's have the skilled player on the field. You can't account for him when I do think.
Toyota. Timeout by the Cardinals. Oh, we've now had an injury and a timeout. I think what happened on that play was that Rosenbach got a bad signal from the sideline. And he simply said, if we're going to run out of time and there's no way to correct it, so he called a timeout. But you sacrifice a timeout this early. That could be critical later on in the ballgame. You need them just before the half.
2nd down and 6 for the Cardinals on their 19. Here's the rookie, Johnny Johnson, and he's got the first down, going wide and passing the 25. Sam Mills and Robert Massey combine to make the stop, coming into the game tied for 2nd in the conference with 142 yards rushing.
What a nice start this young man has made in the NFL. 36 rushes, 142 yards. Dick, some players are never rookie. I mean, officially a rookie. He does not play like a rookie. He plays like a veteran.
First down on the 29. He was a bright spot in their opening game loss to Washington, if you could say that, in a 31-0 loss. Here's Johnson again. Carries a few tacklers close to the 35-yard line. Picks up just about 5 yards. Mills and Vaughn Johnson, the inside linebackers, make the tackle. What makes a rookie not play like one when he first starts out in this league?
I think certainly part of it is fit, the way he fits. And he just stepped in here. His talents are comfortable. He knew how to handle the football. He's secure. He just stepped in and had the job, didn't ask a lot of questions. He just does it.
J.T. Smith in motion, 2nd down and 5. Penalty marker is down, and Johnson barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Ricky Jackson and Robert Goff, the new nose tackle. And the penalty will be against the Cardinals. Tom White is our referee. They'll mark off. They'll probably see whether they decline the penalty. Right now they're talking.
Do you take the yardage, or do you force them to give up the down?
Illegal motion. Offense. 2-man in motion. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Slight loss on the play, and the choice simply was we'd rather have the down and force you into a 3rd and 4 than have it 2nd and long.
So on 3rd down, Milton Mack and Benny Thompson come in as extra defensive backs for the Saints. Three wide receivers in there for the Cardinals. Penalty marker down again. Rosenbaugh throws to wide open. Reeves, he fumbles the ball, and the Saints may have it. They do.
We do have a penalty flag down.
Gene Atkins recovered the fumble, but a penalty marker, and it'll be, I believe, against. We have a procedure penalty. The Cardinal offense remains on the field.
There was no play. False start.
Ooh.
67 offense. It's still 3rd down.
Well, there aren't many times when you're grateful to have a penalty called on you. In that instance, you certainly are, because officially the play ended before anything was done. But what we did see on that play from Rosenbaugh was an excellent reaction to pressure. These Saints, number 2 in the NFL in quarterback sacks, coming hard, and he just found the open man, dropped it off quickly.
Interesting that neither Jim Morris Saints or the Cardinals have completed a pass to a tight end. That was an opportunity right there as Reeves was wide open.
Stadium clock. 12 minutes, 34 seconds. Thank you.
And I feel that you're going to see Hobie Brenner and Reeves catch a few today. Neither team has completed a pass to a tight end. And now it'll be 3rd down and 9 on the 30-yard line.
And it's more understandable for this H-back offense that Bugle runs than it is for New Orleans.
Rosenbaugh has a lot of time, and his pass to Roy Green is incomplete. Led him a little bit too much toward the sideline. Robert Massey covering on the play, and that will bring up 4th down. Cardinals protected him well there, and that's been a problem for Phoenix. And going back to kick is Rich Camarillo for Phoenix. There's Vince Buck, citing rookie punt returning, going back for the Saints.
Teammates have been teasing him about a fair catch back on the 5-yard line. In fact, Tommy Barnhart said, "Hey, get on the other team. I'll punt him to you on the 5."
They'll tease him for only so long.
Ooh, that's it.
Good kick. Buck from the 18. And good hustle on special teams by Ken Harvey. A 53-yard kick for Camarillo, and the Saints will take over for the first time when we come back. John Forcade as he brings out the Saints on the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. And those numbers explain why. Question is, who will be the Saints quarterback if Forcade doesn't deliver? So he's got an opportunity here. 1st down and 10. Dalton Hilliard. Penalty marker down as Hilliard gets 5 yards on the play. Eric Hill, the middle linebacker, on the stop.
An area usually reserved for holding calls.
And a face mask called against.
A
Cardinals, it'll be an automatic first down, and they'll mark it up to the 35. We have had many penalties already.
5 yards. Still first down.
And the defense for the Cardinals: Freddie Joe Nunn, Carl Hairston, Jim Waller, and Ron Sadler. The defensive line: Anthony Bell, Eric Hill, and Ken Harvey. Bell was called for the face mask penalty. Cedric Mack and Jay Taylor are the cornerbacks. Lonnie Young and Tim McDonald are the safeties. First down on the 35-yard line, and Dalton Hilliard will have the first down to about the 37-yard line. Hill making the tackle. Rest of the offense: Kent Haverdink, Jim Dombrowski, Joel Hilgenberg, Steve Trapillo, and Stan Brock, the offensive line. Hobie Brenner is the tight end. Hilliard, along with Craig Hayward, in the backfield. Eric Martin and Brett Perriman are the wideouts for the Saints.
Haverdink, Dombrowski, and Hilgenberg. 3-syllable, left-hand side of the line.
Mouthful, huh?
Boy, that's a mouthful. And they are big. You can put big names on big guys.
First down, and the first pass of the game is complete to Martin, and a first down into Cardinal territory, and a gain of 13. Lonnie Young on the tackle, and Forcade couldn't have looked any sharper on that play.
We talked to Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator for these Saints yesterday. He said very simply, John needs to get in a roll. He needs to get things going. There's Smith. And they've tried to give him high percentage plays to begin this ball game. He went to his best receiver on that play, and the pass was complete.
Two tight ends now. John Tice joins Hobie Brenner on first down. Dalton Hilliard picks up about 3 yards off left tackle. Carl Hairston got to him first. Jim Waller also in on the play. That'll bring up second down. What a difference between Forcade's finish of last year and the first 2 games this year.
One of the hottest quarterbacks in the league. 3 big wins at the end of '89. You see the difference in what he has done in 2 games here.
Late fake on second down and 8, going deep against double coverage, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Brett Perriman, who's got good speed. Cedric Mack was downfield along with Jay Taylor, but he let loose on that one.
Not a badly thrown ball by Forcade, and good effort by Perriman. This is important even if it's not complete. You've got to stretch the defense. Both safeties there striding with him well. Forcade, of course, hoping that one would be pulled in by Perriman. Perriman, the only real speed among these receivers for the New Orleans Saints. He said almost. Well, it's been an almost kind of year.
Now he'll face extra defensive backs Lorenzo Lynch and Marcus Turner for the Cardinals, and a good pass rushing linebacker in Eldonta Osborne. Pass is well overthrown. It was intended for Lonzel Hill, nowhere even near, and that'll bring up fourth down.
Lonzel looked back at John. He said, "Me? That was for me?" Not anywhere near the intended receiver.
It is fourth down, and Tom Barnhart will come in to kick for the Saints. Sikahema will stand back for the Cardinals. Barnhart off to a good start this year.
One of the high points. That's not necessarily good when the coach points to the punter and said he's played well.
Good kick, and a fair catch called for by Sikahema.
Good choice.
Takes a Cardinal bounce, and it's down just shy of the 25-yard line by Vaughn Johnson. So each team has had a try. Cardinals come back in a scoreless game when we return. Forcade getting a breather after his first foray out there. Now watching the Saints defense, an outstanding defense. Did a great job against the 49ers in week 1. Forcade caused a lot of the problems for the defense in week 2 last week in Minnesota. And now the Cardinals have a first down on their 24. Pitch to Johnson. Gets good running room outside. He'll have more than a first down. And picked his spots nicely. Gained 17 yards as he carries beyond the 40 to the 41-yard line. Wayne Martin pushed him out of bounds.
Excellent block by Wolfley, number 24. Watch him lead. Left-hand side of your screen. Going to take the linebacker down right there. Good job making room, and good running backs have the ability to accelerate upfield and then make people miss. Johnson not only gets up the field well, but he's going to avoid a couple of tackles. He did it there.
Happened really fast for him, and he's responded. 7th-round draft pick. A first down for the Cardinals on their 41. He gets the call again and dives forward to the 45-yard line. Vaughn Johnson, one of the best run defenders in the NFL, made the tackle.
We talked to Joe Bugle about his game plan for this ball game, and very simply, Bugle said, look, he said, if it goes the way we'd like it to go, and I'm sure the way Mora would like it to go, with both teams running the football, we may have the shortest game in NFL history. And I think he's right. Both teams wanting to take as much heat as possible off their quarterback.
Johnny Johnson has already gained 37 yards on 5 carries. 2nd down and 6 Cardinals on their 45. Pressure on Rosenbaugh. He gets it off, however, and it's completed. Brian Ford and Atkins made the stop. That was Johnson again, and he got rid of the ball just in time.
Johnson looks like he came up limping a little bit, heading for the sideline, but that play should have been a big loss. Had it not been for Johnson's nimble feet and his leg strength, they would have had him for a loss on that play. This New Orleans Saints defense, you don't want to mess around against them. They have the best linebacking in the NFL across the board, and I think in Vaughn Johnson, the best inside linebacker in football.
They bring a rookie Ronaldo Turnbull in for pass rushing, number 97, up front, 3rd down and 5. Rosenbaugh has time, going for Roy Green, deep, and Green has it and loses it. It was in his hands. Milton Mack was back there.
I think Mack was able to get his hand on the ball. This ball thrown well, but not thrown well enough to keep Green at full stride. Has to slow down just a little bit. Watch the right hand, Milton Mack, right there. He'll strip it and pull that ball away. That's just good defensive play.
Green still looking for his first reception this year. Rich Camarillo to kick for the 2nd time for the Cardinals. His first punt went 53 yards. Vince Buck.
Oh, great kick.
He's just going to let it go, and it's going to take a Cardinal bounce, and Harvey is going to keep it in play at the 2-yard line, maybe the 1. Great hustle by Ken Harvey on special teams following another 53-yard boomer by Rich Camarillo.
Cardinals believe in using starters on their special teams. One of those is Ken Harvey, 56. First man down the field. A great job of downing this football just outside or inside of the 2-yard line as you see the ball laid down. Harvey breathing a little hard as he steps in there as the starter, but he has been a spectacular player for these Cardinals.
Well, he is setting a pretty good pace and tempo. Joe Bugle's got to love that. Meanwhile, the Cardinals have a change in their secondary. Michael Zordich has replaced Jay Taylor at cornerback. Taylor had been ailing with a strained ankle, and he's not in there. 1st and 10 on the 2. Falling down is Hilliard as he crawls to the 5-yard line. Lucky he got up to there.
Dalton Hilliard, a man that is going to carry a large share of the load today. 12 yards so far in this ball game. Interesting. Look at the size of those legs. Now, we talked to him yesterday, and I said, Dalton, those with calves like that, size like that, you got to have trouble buying pants. He said, yeah. He said, I have to buy a size 38. I said, what size your waist? He said, 32. And the back pockets have got to be right together in those sizes.
A lot of adjustments made after he buys them. On 2nd down, here's Hilliard again. That's going to bring up 3rd down for the Saints. Rod Sadler and Ken Harvey in on the play. You know, the Cardinals played outstanding defense against the Eagles, particularly in the 2nd half last week, and now they have the Saints pinned back 3rd and 5.
We mentioned the Saints linebackers, and we can almost talk in the same way about these Cardinal linebackers. 3 former first-round draft picks, and certainly 2 of the premier outside linebackers in the NFL right now. And in Bell and Harvey, and inside Eric Hill just coming into his own. Before long, this may be the best 3-man rotation of linebackers in the NFL.
3 tight ends in for the Saints on 3rd down and 5. For Cade, has his receivers covered, and he's tackled out of bounds. Good hustle by Ken Harvey again, doing it on teams and on defense. He has set the tone for the Cardinals, and now the Saints will be forced to punt from the end zone.
Harvey at 6'2" and 228, showing you the kind of speed he has. You notice he's wearing 56. A lot of linebackers want that number because of the great Lawrence Taylor. Well, Harvey, one that they're comparing in speed, in strength, to the great one himself.
Tommy Barnhart, deep in his end zone, will be kicking. By Sikahema is back deep for the Cardinals. Chance for Sikahema to run it back, but the kick went too short. It'll be down by the Saints, but it is in New Orleans territory. So the Cardinals with a great opportunity now for field position. Vince Buck downed it. We're at the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans. The game did not sell out, but some 60,000 fans are on hand. For the Saints looking for their first win against the Cardinals. Trying to go 2-1. Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen, 5:06 remaining in the first quarter. And the best starting field position for the Cardinals in this quarter. First down on the Saints, 47. Play fake, Rosenbach completes it to Reeves, the tight end. He'll be stopped for no gain. Brett Maxey and Robert Goff on the stop, and that's the first time the Cardinals have found a tight end this year.
And Reed treated rather roughly by Maxey as he whipped him out of bounds. Only a few inches on the gain. Pass was completed. One of the things that these Cardinals were able to do in the last half of that Eagle game last week is to begin to utilize the strength of this big offensive line, one of the largest in the NFL.
Turnbull, the rookie from West Virginia, in as a pass rusher. Second down and 9, the pitch to Johnson. Nothing this time, and he'll lose a yard, and that's Ronaldo Turnbull. Not very big, but he's awfully quick. He was the first pick by the Saints out of West Virginia. That will bring up a 3rd and long.
Surprisingly strong. He's got a very narrow lower body, 6'4" and 248. Very small for a defensive end. A lot of people felt that he would only be used as a pass rush specialist. But here, Steve Sidwell talked about his strength. They're very proud of what he's able to do against the run.
Ricky Prohl in, third wide receiver, 3rd down and 10. Defense might not have gotten back. Rosenbach, pass complete to Roy Green in the open field.
Great block, J.T. Smith.
And Green is out of bounds at the 27. It'll be a big first down for the Cardinals. We'll wait to see what the flag is, and apparently
it's going to be an offside.
The Saints.
Yeah, Ronaldo Turnbull.
Defense, penalty is declined. First down.
That was Turnbull. Couldn't get back before the snap, and a gain of 21 yards. And for Roy Green, his first reception of the year.
Roy Green, and you see Turnbull jumping offside, and everything kind of stops. There is time for Rosenbach. Good pattern. Roy Green, a veteran, knows how to work those defensive backs. Here's the block coming right here. Bam! Woo! J.T. Smith. Hello.
Cardinals with a first down on the Saints 26. Johnny Johnson hit hard as he gets to about the 25-yard line. Sam Mills and Robert Massey in on the stop, but it was Mills who got him first.
Johnson looking up, so you're going to replay that run. I think one of the interesting things that happens in stadiums now that they're replaying so many plays, the players sometimes get taken out of the flow of the game. They want to watch up there. They don't have to wait till Monday to see the film. They want to look at it right now. I don't know if that's a good thing on the field.
Coaches might frown on that. Second down and 8. The tight end Reeves in motion. Johnson. And I think the Saints are getting wise to Johnny Johnson as Wayne Martin and Robert Pig Goff stormed in.
Wayne Martin doing a good job holding his own at the point of attack. And Robert Goff, I got in the locker room yesterday and I said, "You want me to call you Robert, right?" He said, "No, it's Pig. Pig." I said, "If you're sure," no question. He's very sure about it. Came over from Tampa Bay. And they moved him into the lineup. They said, we feel that our best 3 linemen now would include Big Goff. So we're going to put Wilkes back out at end where he played earlier.
Well, an Okie defense should have a big in the middle.
He should have a big in the middle. I got one.
3rd down and 9. Rosenbaugh has room to run. And he's not going to get first down yardage. And a great tackle by Gene Atkins in the open field. And a penalty marker is down, and it'll be against the Cardinals, apparently.
I think they'll probably take the penalty. They'd be certainly well within the range of Del Greco here. But it would be 4th down. Let's see if they're going to take it. Yeah, they're going to move him back.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 63, offense, still 3rd down.
Tootie Robbins, the right tackle, and so basically the Saints are saying we're not going to let the Cardinals get close to the first down, and they thought they might have had an easy 3 if they had tried the field goal there.
Del Greco's 5 for 5 so far this season. I think they're right.
Ball is at the 35. Wing pass to Johnson. Can't hold it. 4th down. Well, the decision paid off for the Saints.
And if you're asking why that kind of play, very simply, the philosophy there, let's get back to where we can try the field goal. Let's get some range for that field goal. And they're going to try it here. However, it's going to be a very long one. Del Greco with a 50-yarder last week against the Eagles.
Not normally known for his distance, more for his accuracy. This will be about a 53-yard kick for Del Greco with Tom Tupa holding. He was the hero last week in the win over the Eagles, one of them anyway. And the kick is no good, off to the left. And the score stays scoreless with 1 minute and 7 seconds to go in the first quarter. Cardinals with an opportunity there, started in Saints territory.
See the pats on the back. Joe Bugle's philosophy, we're going to be positive. They are. They're not going to look at the negatives. They want to look at the positive. They want to reinforce each other. Look at those numbers. New Orleans defense, only 3 field goals allowed in the first quarter in the last 16 home games. That is really an impressive stat.
Saints start from their 35-yard line. Hilliard picks up about 3 yards. Jim Waller on the tackle for the Cardinals. Toy Cook and the rest of the secondary on the sideline. Time for perhaps one more play. Less than a minute to go.
Very quick first quarter.
That's what Joe Bugle thought might happen. No gain. Frank Hayward with his first carry. And he ran smack into Carl Hairston.
Big Daddy against Ironhead.
That's a collision. Made for the movies.
Turnbull explaining why he jumped offside to John Peace. There's Big Daddy. I asked him, I said, how's the pacemaker working? He said, hey, just got a new one installed. He got a great sense of humor. Oldest starter on defense in the NFL.
And that is the end of the first quarter here at the Superdome with the score. The Cardinals nothing and the Saints nothing. And we begin the second quarter here at the Superdome. Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen, no score. And the Saints have 4 wide receivers facing a 3rd down and 8 on their 37-yard line. Lloyd Turner and Lonzel Hill, the extra wide receiver split. Low snap to Forcade. Has time and is going for Perriman. And actually 2 receivers, Perriman and Turner, were in the same location. It went incomplete with Lonnie Young, the free safety, in the vicinity.
Forcade throwing off his back foot, and not a good throw at that. Not a lot of heat on the quarterback. Forcade has had real problems getting himself back into the swing of things. And I think part of what he's having to deal with is the fact that he's the starter now. He wasn't just rushed into the action.
Bai Sikahema is back as Tommy Barnhart gets set to punt, and our first sounding of boos for Forcade after that throw. Short kick, but high. Running up is Sikahema. Very smart. Hayward will down it at the 32-yard line. And a smart move by Sikahema because he didn't want to risk a running fumble on a play like that.
He's such a veteran at that position, a Pro Bowler as a returner. You have to love a guy like that who can make that kind of choice on the run. Having a chance to talk to Joe Omohundro, the trainer for the Cardinals, he said something interesting to me. He said he is the toughest man in terms of his ability to deal with pain that I've ever been around. He said, as far as I'm concerned, you can't have enough Tongans and Samoans on the team. Well, he is the Tongan, as you might know.
First down and 10 on the 32 for the Cardinals. Johnson trying to change direction. Takes a few of the Saints to bring him down after a 2-yard gain. Gene Atkins was the first to hit him to slow him up, and Pat Swilling completed the work.
Atkins with a few words for the rookie. I think he may have said, okay, that was nice, but come back again. We'll give you a little more to deal with. This is a very physical defensive team. One of the things that the Saints do is that they make room for a lot of guys the next day after you play the Saints, a lot of guys in the world, because they're going to be black and blue.
Total offense, Phoenix has nearly doubled the Saints' output. Second down and 7. Jackson and Swilling are in pass rushing situations. As defensive ends on the draw play. Johnny Johnson up the middle. Sam Mills is there to meet him. So tough against these backers. That'll bring up 3rd and long for the Cardinals.
Gotta love Sam Mills. 5'8". He might be lying about that, but he is a power-packed linebacker. Before he went in the USFL, he played a little bit in the Canadian League and ended up going back to East Orange, New Jersey. He was a photography teacher. Got a chance to join more in the USFL. The rest is history. He's become an outstanding linebacker in spite of his small size.
Ricky Prohl has entered the Cardinal lineup. 3rd down and 4. Rosenbaugh has time, being chased from behind. And he's going to slide. Good, I believe, for the first down. They'll mark it, but I think he has it. Robert Goff put good pressure from behind on Rosenbaugh.
They did get the first down. Rosenbaugh using all of his time. He's got excellent mobility and excellent speed, and he likes to run the football. In fact, last week he said, hey, I like running over some of those people. We talked to him about sliding. He said, you know, people are going to start looking for you, and they're going to start headhunting on you. He said, yeah, you're right. He said, maybe a good idea sometimes just to slide. Well, he did the right thing there, and still able to pick up the first down.
He's no good if he's on the sideline hurt.
That's it, exactly.
Ball on the 44 of the Cardinals. Early second quarter. Johnson fighting his way for about a yard. He had Lance Smith blocking. And the Saints were there once again. It's got to be a little frustrating for the Saints, a team that was on the brink. They made the playoffs a few years ago. In fact, in the last 3 years, they have won more games than virtually every club in the National Football League, and they have to watch from sliding back down.
Well, they certainly do. More careful to point out to us that this team started 1-4 last year, only winning 1 game, and still got to 9-7. But in the NFC West, it's hard to come from behind, and 0-3 might be the death knell.
Second down to 9. Rosenbaugh was hit. He was going for the tight end Reeves and got hit hard. Pat Swilling with the big pass rush, and that will bring up 3rd and long.
56. We talked about the significance for these linebackers, and Swilling with his great size and great speed. He is faster than Lawrence Taylor. You saw what he can do in a pass rushing situation. He is a thumper. Led this team in quarterback sacks last year with 16.5 sacks. This shows you why he can come and put them down.
And another 56. 3rd down and 9. Up the middle. They were trying to go to Johnson, but the pass was thrown behind him. Vaughn Johnson was closest to him. And once again, the Saints look like they had a stunt going in to try to get to Rosenbaugh. In any event, it'll be 4th down.
Joe Bugle will bring Rosenbaugh off for a moment and have a little chat with him. All right. Hey, not a big deal. Not a big deal. We can handle it.
Score still 0-0. Rich Camarillo will kick it again. He has kicked 2 punts now for over 50 yards. Vince Buck is back for the Saints. And they try to block it and just missed it. Buck will field it at the 21-yard line and get knocked back a bit. Joel Smengi, a rookie from Western Michigan, nearly got a piece of that. We'll be back to the Superdome in just a moment. Opportunity to score, a missed field goal by Del Greco. Those are the quarterback numbers, and it's 0-0. Now, of course, the NFL today spent a lot of time talking about the Saints quarterback situation. You had a chance to talk to Jim Finks.
Just before the game, he said a couple of things. He said, first, in relation to Hebert, he said, we would love to have Hebert back, but we have not yet talked money. And Hebert's stance has changed, as was reported on the pregame show. The other thing he said is, I have spent a lot of time talking to Dallas. We're close to a deal. That could be consummated as early as next week. But their concern right now is what they're going to do in the meantime. I mean, you don't just bring a quarterback in here and say, okay, now you can play, even though they have a bye this week.
You kind of give up the season if you bring in Steve Walsh and make him your starter for 2 reasons. Number one, he doesn't know the offense, and 2, he's basically a rookie.
And this is a complicated offense, a huge amount of memory work. This is not an easy offense to learn.
1st and 10 for the Saints, starting from their 22. A couple of tight ends in there and a play action for Cade. And his pass is picked off by Tim McDonald. And the Pro Bowl strong safety with a big turnover will give the Cardinals the ball. And now the crowd is reacting to Forcade.
You see Mora saying, come on, we can't let ourselves get sucked into this. But Forcade falling back into the same trap that has dogged him throughout the early part of this season. His 7th interception. Let's see what kind of choice he makes. Inside, overthrows, underthrows, actually, did not really have an open man. There were 3 defenders there. Hobie Brenner, the man he wanted, cutting across the tight end. McDonald, great play.
And the Cardinals with a big opportunity. 1st down, Johnny Johnson wide open. Fights his way inside the 10-yard line on the first play, a 25-yard gain, and a penalty marker is down, back up around the 25, and that's going to nullify the rookie's strong run.
Ron Wolfley, the H-back, vehemently denying that he did some holding on that play, but they will bring back that great run, and what a shame that is for Cardinal fans.
Holding, number 67 offense.
Well, it wasn't you.
Louis Sharp.
That's the counter gap play that they run so well. Bugle brought it over as the basis of the offense. In fact, he said, Louis Sharp runs that better than any tackle I have ever had. Now, that's saying something. Joe Jacoby, along with some other fine tackles back there in Washington.
25-yard run inside the 10 is nullified, and the Cardinals now facing 1st down and 19. Back on the Saints 40. Rosenbaugh with an audible. And his pass. Completed. J.T. Smith very nearly had it. Hilton Mack, a nickel back, was defending on the play. Boy, he was like disjointed trying to make that grab, Smith.
I started to say, what a great catch. Very athletic maneuver. And J.T. Smith, even though he's got a little age on those great legs, has incredible hands and great body control. This is one of the great route runners in the NFL. In fact, if you are wanting to show young receivers how to run their patterns, this is one of the men that you pick out film on.
Saw him for many years with Kansas City. 2nd down. Rosenbaugh, penalty marker down. Ricky Prohl, who's the leading pass receiver for the Cardinals, with his first reception of the game, stopped at the 31. Sam Mills making the stop. And we're going to have a foul against, personal foul, clipping against the Cardinals, and they'll be moved back again.
It's legal for the offensive lineman to hit into the back of the defensive lineman in their leg.
Personal foul, flipping, 61 offense, still second down.
Lance Smith, the right guard.
In the neutral zone, you're allowed to dive on the back of those legs. There's a clipping area there that is legal, but you get beyond that, you can't dive on the back of the defensive man's legs.
That may be Robert Massey, and it is the second-year cornerback who is shaken up. So the Cardinals had a big opportunity following McDonald's interception. A 25-yard run inside the 10 was called back. Louis Sharp and Lance Smith both called for penalties here, and now they're back in their own territory.
He's got this thing in reverse. Come on, let's turn it the other way.
This fellow ought to turn something the other way.
He's a little
decked out, huh?
He's either early or late for Mardi Gras. I don't know which. One or the other. Or maybe.
Buddy and his boys need a win, but can the Eagles derail the offensive onslaught of Jim Everett and the Rams? But where next?
That's the rallying cry of Saint fans, but they have not had much to rally about so far in this 1990 season.
Vince Buck takes the place of Massey. It'll be second down and 34, and the pass intended for Johnson, and another flag is down.
This one will
Pat
go.
Swilling.
This one will go for roughing the passer, and boy, that is such a costly call. You take them all the way back. You've got them in their own territory, and now you not only give them 15, you give them a first down.
They had third down and 34, and Pat Swilling.
Do you know any good third and 34 plays?
I don't think I do. Quick kick.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 56, first down.
That's the first penalty of the game against the Saints, and that really burns. And it burns Jim Mora. And it'll be a first down at the 40-yard line for the Cardinals back in Saints territory.
Jim Mora's teams have always been tough football teams, physical football teams, but they also play smart. That was not smart football.
Walter Reeves and Jim Jordan, two tight end alignment for the Cardinals. Johnny Johnson, with Louis Sharp in front of him, can only get about 2 yards. Ricky Jackson and Sam Mills, half of that great linebacker quartet of the Saints, are there.
Von Johnson also there. It's one of the things you'll find. Great linebackers are always around the play. They have a nose for the football. For them, if they haven't gotten a piece of it, the play is not complete defensively.
Last week, Johnny Johnson gained 88 yards on the ground against the Eagles. He already has gained 47.
Would have had a pile more if they hadn't called back that big run earlier in this quarter.
Second down and 8. Johnson a couple of more will bring up third down and long. Jim Wilkes, who was moved from nose tackle to defensive end. Nothing new for him, was the first to get to it.
22 carries for Johnson last week, and we asked him if that was comfortable. He said, that's about what I did in college. He said, I can handle that. He said, in fact, I didn't even know I carried it that many times. Isn't that wonderful?
Steve Sidwell, when you talked to him yesterday, I know he made a comment saying that this guy was a real find. He was impressed looking at Johnson on the field. Third down and 7 on the 37-yard line. Mays play fake. Rosenbaugh scrambling around, completes to J.T. Smith. He'll have the first down, close to the 25-yard line. Toy Cook and Robert Massey both in there. And that's where scrambling around really paid off for the Cardinals.
Mobility, such an asset for a quarterback if he knows how to use it. And on this play, Rosenbaugh does a great job of avoiding the pressure from the left-hand side of your screen. Watch the rush here. Swilling, 56, is going to come in from left-hand side. He just ducks underneath the rush and not worried about running the football, just getting extra time and the strike right there. First down. An excellent play by Rosenbaugh. He is maturing as a quarterback.
Swilling was the thorn for Mora. He committed that penalty, and now a first down on the 25 of the Saints. Rosenbaugh with time up the middle, has Ricky Prohl, and the rookie receiver is stopped at the 20-yard line, a gain of 5. Mills and Brett Maxey were there.
One of the concerns for this Cardinal team, Louis Sharp, sore left knee. Did not practice until Friday, and he has a load to handle in Swilling. Right there, those big hands. I tell you, that's just like being absorbed, being swallowed. And Sharp, one of the great pass blockers in the NFL. He does stay on block longer than just about any tackle in the league.
Second down and 5 at the 20-yard line. Johnny Johnson trying to go wide. He won't go anywhere. Swilling was riding him along the line along with Toy Cook, and that will bring up third down. 7:15 remaining in the first half. No score.
Well, these are the toughest yards in football. You get down inside that 20, and they're particularly tough here for these New Orleans Saints. But this year, look at this, 5 possessions inside the 20, and they've given up 4 touchdowns and a field goal. So both San Francisco and Minnesota converted 100% of the time when they got inside the 20. That's not the kind of defensive football they play here in New Orleans.
By Sikahema, the back on 3rd and 5. Rosenbaugh's pass is tipped away, and a good play intended for Sikahema. It was Gene Atkins, the free safety, who got a hand on it. And that'll bring up 4th down, and Al Del Greco, who earlier missed a 53-yard field goal, will come in again and try to put the Cardinals in front.
Atkins and Maxey actually switched roles this year. Atkins, the free safety, moves over from the strong safety position, and Maxey swapped over from free safety to strong safety. It really has helped this secondary.
This will be a 37-yard attempt, and the first from that distance for Del Greco this year. The holder is Tom Tupa. It was blocked. Free ball. Jim Wilkes blocked it. And Benny Thompson picked it up. And it's still no score as the Saints defense storms in. So Del Greco is 0 for 2 after coming into this game a perfect 3 for 3. Penalty against the Saints after the block. So it'll be New Orleans ball, but they'll have to mark some yards off New Orleans.
Illegal block, pushing the back, number 26 during the return. First down for New Orleans.
Let's watch for the block now. Number 94, Wilkes, comes right up the middle. 6'5". He just stretched all the way out, got his hands on the ball, and then Thompson takes it up the field.
And 43 seconds to go in the first half. Still no score. Cardinals have failed with 2 field goal attempts, and now the Saints will try their hand on the 23-yard line, their own 23. So Pat Swilling's roughing the passer penalty turned out just to be a bad penalty for the Saints. Didn't cost them anything. First down, a screen pass to Perriman. Fumbles it out of bounds for virtually no gain. Cedric Mack was covering.
In this game today, the Saints have not been able to control the football. Look at that, 14:50 for Phoenix and just over 6 minutes for New Orleans. That has been a big problem this year, but in the past, the Saints have done a great job. In fact, last year ranked first in the NFL, and in the last 3 years, 2 years they were first, 1 year they were second, so this is a huge turnaround. Their inability to control the football.
Gil Fenerty, a great story, who was drafted back in 1986 by the Saints, been around the world, has come in number 22, and the pass nearly intercepted.
Wow.
The pass intended for Eric Martin was thrown behind him. Cedric Mack nearly picked off the second interception for the Cardinals today, and that was risky all the way for Rosenbauer.
McDonald, the last man in. Mack bounced the ball up. McDonald had his hands on it, but watch the good defensive play. Made possible because, again, a poor throw by Fourcade. Man's got to go back for the football. Watch the ball bounce in the air. McDonald right there momentarily had his hands on the football. One big interception already in this game, and a big one last week against the Eagles.
Third down and 10 on the Saints 23. Out of the shotgun, Fourcade gets a good rush. And he completes the pass. It'll be good enough for the first down to Lonzel Hill. 13 yards to the 35-yard line. Lorenzo Lynch was there defending.
Forcade at the end of that play, Dick, reached for his knee. Looked like as Harvey hit him, his knee kind of opened up, stretched the ligaments a little bit. We'll keep an eye on him, see if he did in fact injure that knee on that play. See him reach down there? See him reach for that knee? I think he may have hurt his knee a bit on that play.
That was the Saints' third first down of the game. On first down, here's Fennerty. Fennerty gets about a couple of yards. Rod Sadler was the first man to reach him. Fennerty is out of Holy Cross, and where around the world has this young man been?
I asked him, as he was drafted, he was a 7th pick. I said, why didn't you sign with the Saints? He said, they were too cheap. I said, where did you go? He said, I went to Italy. Bolzano, Northern Italy, played over there in the Italian football team. Said there were 2 Americans on the team. He was only there for about 3 months, and he loved it, took a year off, traveled in Europe, and then went to the CFL for 3 years before he came down to tee it up against the big boys.
Second down and 8 with 4:49 to go. Forcade swings it out and overthrows Hayward out of the backfield. Harvey was shadowing him, and that will bring up third down. Forcade was a little sharp early in the game, but he seems to have lost it right now. Has only completed 3 of 9 for a measly 28 yards.
Well, and when you come in with the lowest quarterback ranking in the NFL, you've already thrown 1 interception. Those numbers are going to plummet. I don't know how much lower you can get on the quarterback ranking.
Moore is wondering, and that's why Tommy Kramer is loosening up, wearing the baseball cap behind the Saints bench. 4 wide receivers, 3 to the top of your picture. On third down, Forcade's pass. Caught, and I think he's got the first down. Floyd Turner. Forcade took a hit by Ken Harvey.
Again, that's Harvey finishing the play. It's 2 real shots on Forcade, 1 on the knee and 1 to the body. Forcade angry, but I think pumped up by the fact that he finally picked the first down. Watch the hit here. Gets the ball off. Bam! Right to the ground and stacked up. But how does he react coming off the ground? All right.
He's a battler.
We got it. We got the first down. I think we got it.
Now let's see what happens. 2 tight ends for the Saints. On first down, Fennerty trying to pick his spot and gets about 8 yards. Lonnie Young undercut him, but a nice piece of running for Fennerty, and now McDonald is battling Trapillo in a little skirmish. Steve Trapillo didn't like McDonald's actions, apparently, and vice versa.
Trapillo downfield threw a block at the end of that play, and McDonald angry thought it was a late hit. Went right after Trapillo's head. No harm, no foul? Is this the NBA?
It's not, but you're right. No harm, no foul. Talk about that offensive line. Jim Morris says it's the best it's been since he's been here, and certainly the healthiest thus far. Second down and 2. Saints on the Cardinal 46. Fennerty with an effort. Penalty marker down, and Fennerty is ridden out of bounds by Lonnie Young. First down, but a flag, and that'll be against the Saints, and I believe holding will be the call. That's it. Nullifies an 11-yard pickup.
I think Joel Hilgenberg is going to get tagged for that call inside, and he's got problems today. Got a split on the mid finger, the pointer finger, the long finger of his left hand.
Holding, number 61, offense, still second down.
I talked to him just before the game in a locker room, and I said, what is that splint going to do? He said, well, I can snap the ball, but he said, I'm going to have trouble holding. It won't be nearly as, so he's not holding as effectively. Ineffective holding, and they threw the flag on him on that play. He is the smallest center in the NFL, but technique, absolutely among the best you've ever seen for center.
Second down and 12 following that penalty. Back to the Saints 44-yard line. Forcade in a hurry and nearly a good catch by Perriman. I don't think so. Incomplete.
No control on the football. They'll bring it back to the line of scrimmage, and Forcade beginning to do some of the things that got him in trouble in the first 2 weeks. He's kind of a gambling type quarterback anyway. Just fired that ball into the masses and hoped that someone would catch it. Well, unfortunately, most of the catches in the first part of the last few weeks have come from the opponents and not from his own teammates.
Tommy Kramer, who was throwing just a moment ago. Forcade's been in every league you can name, including arena football, before landing in the NFL again. Third down and 12, and here's the safety blitz by Mack, and wide open is Martin, and he's got a first down to the Cardinal 40-yard line. A pickup of 16 yards. Tim McDonald on the stop. A cornerback blitz by Cedric Mack, and Forcade avoided it.
Breaking the containment. When you come from the right-hand side, when you're blitzing, you've got to keep that quarterback inside of you. Mack has a clear shot, and Forcade, outside that containment, has all kinds of time. His most dependable receiver pulls it down for the first down.
And three tight ends with Finnerty in the backfield on a first down play. Forcade completes the pass to Greg Scales, and that'll be another first down as the time running down to the 2-minute warning. That was a 14-yard gain with Zordich making the stop and the crowd cheering for the first time today. And our 2-minute warning is here. We'll be back to New Orleans in a moment. Remaining in the first half here in New Orleans, and the Saints with their biggest threat. They have yet to score a touchdown this season, and John Forcade has been hot, 5 for 8 for 51 yards on this drive.
Hot and cold in the same game. He's hot right now, but he has terminated a lot of these drives with intercepted throws.
Finnerty on first down dives for about a yard. The Saints have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Tim McDonald was there to stop Finnerty.
Dick, the Saints have not had trouble moving the football. They just had trouble getting it into the end zone. They've been able to move the football. They moved it against San Francisco. They were able to move it early against the Vikings, but they just self-destructed, and particularly as they got down into this end of the field.
12th play of the drive coming up. Started on the Saints 23 after the blocked field goal attempt. Second down and 9. Finnerty gets a couple. It'll be third down, and they may be setting up a possible Morten Andersen tiebreaker right here. Freddie Joe Nunn with his first stop of the ball game, and we're down to close to a minute to go in the half. Saints still have not used any timeout. Ball is on the 23.
Very conservative approach for the Saints.
They want to keep their record clean.
Well, they don't want to make a mistake. They want to get some points on the board in this ball game.
And now the Saints will finally call a timeout, their first. Morten Andersen is waiting in the wings. 48 seconds remain in the first half.
When you look for champions, you look to Major League Baseball.
On go in the first half, and that timeout was taken by the Phoenix Cardinals. It was their second timeout, so they have one left. And New Orleans has all 3 of theirs.
Very important, I think, in Jim Mora's mind, to go into the locker room with a lead. If that's a 3-point lead, so be it. This will be a high percentage play one way or the other. We don't want to give the ball away.
Third down and 7. Finnerty goes in motion.
Right.
And the pass is overthrown. Harvey might have gone offside. The Cardinal linebacker, Lonnie Young, defending on the play. Let's wait and see.
Big play. That'll mark off 5, I think, against the Cardinals.
And that'll create a third down and 2, if that's the call.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty.
So much easier to pick up a 3rd and 2 than it is a 3rd and 7. Now they're inside the 20-yard line. Bugle
taking notes now.
Well, you know what he's doing. We asked him about that clipboard. He said, with the short timeout,
still third down.
He said, I have to be well organized. He said, I make notes about what I want to talk to the team about when we get into the locker room. He said, then I can put it up on the board. He said, I don't have to waste any time, and I can get it done in the locker room.
Inside the 20, the Saints have yet to score a touchdown, and they've turned it over 3 times in 6 tries. Third down and 2 on the 18. Forcade on the run, and completes the pass for the first down to Eric Martin. Cedric Mack covering, and a great play by Martin to hold on to the ball against the hip. And now the Saints will use up a timeout there first. Terry Bradshaw with all the scores, highlights, and latest information from around the NFL. Very big possession here for the Saints, who have that first down on the 14 of the Cardinals.
For John Forcade, maybe the most important possession of the entire year. He needs to get the conversion here, and needs particularly to get it into the end zone.
15th play of this drive. Forcade. His pass is overthrown. It was intended for John Tice. Anthony Bell defending, but that was way past Tice's reach for sure.
Anthony Bell, the best coverage linebacker in the NFL, showed you why on that last play. He can cover the tight end man for man. He'll cover the running backs man for man. Watch number 55, Tice, 82, right-hand side of your screen, tries to get out on Anthony Bell. At the end of this play, you'll see how tightly covered he is. Right there. Bell smothering him and not anywhere near on the pass. That's a throwaway from Forcade. At least we'll credit him with that.
So it's 2nd and 10. Forcade pass complete to Martin. He's at the 5. He's in. And the Saints finally score a touchdown.
Forcade has had trouble staying in the pocket. Here, he steps up and throws a strike. Eric Martin, who's caught the ball well all day long, gets the first touchdown of the year for the New Orleans Saints.
A 14-yard pass. Eric Martin holding on to that football as Morton Anderson banks in the extra point. And with 22 seconds remaining in the first half, the Saints lead the Cardinals 7-0 after the Cardinals had 2 chances in New Orleans territory and came up empty with a pair of missed field goals by Al Del Greco.
People talk about people having a monkey on their back. John Forcade didn't have a monkey, he had a gorilla on his back. That gorilla may just have popped off with that touchdown, and you see the applause by Jim Mora for Forcade, for that drive, and for a 7-point lead.
And that was about as impressive a drive as you'll find, a ball control drive, but he threw some passes as well and really spread it around to his receivers. And the Saints, getting back into the ball control game, used up nearly 6.5 minutes.
Kind of equalizing. We showed you how poorly they had done in controlling the clock earlier, but with that 6 minutes, that will help to equalize the time. 15 plays, a lot of them running plays, but key passes thrown by Forcade. He had trouble in the first quarter, coming back now with that good drive, and that should help him to settle down, should help to stabilize this New Orleans team.
Those are Forcade's numbers. He threw the interception earlier to McDonald, but he gets the TD pass to Martin. Anderson kicking off for the Saints. Back deep is by Sikahema and Ricky Prohl for Phoenix, and heading towards Prohl. 2 yards. And hit hard at the 15 by Benny Thompson. Well, next Saturday, CBS Sports resumes its baseball coverage at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, and we'll have games with divisional race implications for you next Saturday.
Where are you going to be next Saturday?
Well, I'll be somewhere, but I have an idea that it might be at one of the American League games, and you know, Toronto and Boston are playing next week at Fenway Park, so that wouldn't be
not a bad place to be.
And you, my friend?
I may be watching my son play football, at least on Friday night.
Not a bad thing to do. The Cardinals are going to just run out the time. How's your son doing?
He's doing fine. 17-year-old down lineman. I don't know why they put him as the down lineman. He's about 6'2.5" and about 220 pounds. I thought he'd be a quarterback or something.
That should be like his dad, Nathan Olson. Well, Forcade runs off. A happy quarterback, and that is the end of the first half here at the Superdome with the score, the New Orleans Saints 7 and the Phoenix Cardinals nothing. Start the second half, and it's Vince Buck. And he doesn't get past the 15-yard line. They'll mark it probably at the 16 as we get underway.
Excellent tackle by Marcus Turner on that play. He's down the field quickly. That play set up by a nice deep kickoff.
Forcade, by the way, completed 7 of 11 on that touchdown drive. Dalton Hilliard and Craig Hayward come out as running backs for the Saints. It's Hilliard against the ball, slices off tackle, and Hilliard close to a first down. Ken Harvey and Lonnie Young were there to bring him down.
7 points may not seem like a huge lead. When you're used to being behind, it's very comfortable. You got to believe that the Saints will continue to try and monopolize their running strength. Carl Smith there on the left. Tommy Kramer got a little bit of flying time last week. Did not show you the kind of fire you need from a backup quarterback. That's one of the reasons that Forcade is still in the line.
2 tight ends on second down and 1. Hilliard has the first down. Driven back by Ken Harvey. Keep in mind that the Saints, who opened up against the world champions and then had to go into Minnesota last week, another playoff team, or perhaps playing the easiest of their opponents in the first 3 weeks. And that can't be lost upon them, even though they don't want to get too complacent. They're looking for a win. But let's face it, the Cardinals are not up to the grade of the other clubs.
No one expected Mora's team to be 2-0. They hoped to be 1-1 after those first 2 games. But the way they lost to the 49ers had to be immensely discouraging. They outplayed the 49ers here in that Monday night game.
First down on the 28-yard line. Forcade in time, and intended for Tice, the tight end, didn't quite get to him. Protection broke out after a while, and he had to rush that throw.
Let's take a look at John Forcade as he settles back into the pocket. He's had very nervous feet during this ball game, and you see him right there. He doesn't want to stay back in that pocket. Getting a little bit of heat from Waller, but not enough to demand that he run out of that pocket. I think he's still an awfully nervous quarterback.
And we've heard the term nervous feet before. Nervous feet,
yeah, you see them there. It was obvious last week and in the first game. Very, very nervous back in that pocket.
Cardinals showing a blitz. Pull back. Forcade being chased from behind. Loose ball.
I think the Cardinals may have gotten it. Yes, there it is. If it is a fumble, the Cardinals have it.
We'll wait for the official call. They feel they have it.
Freddie Joe Nunn.
What else is new?
The man who came up with the football from the backside. The question is, did he start forward with his arm?
Eric Hill might have caused the fumble. Steve Trapillo tried to grab it.
Well, the Saints saying it's our ball.
Pass is ruled as a fumble, therefore there is no penalty on the play. The ball is recovered by New Orleans. It's third down.
They're saying the ball was recovered by a New Orleans player before Freddie Joe Nunn got his hands on it. All right, watch the play now. They're saying the arm did not start forward, takes the hit there, and they're right about that. But one of the Saints grabs it on the way down. Oh, no. Come on. I think we're going to have to look at that one again because that ball was not covered and possessed. Well, no, they're not going to look at it again. There won't be a chance.
Looked like he was losing it, and a Cardinal knocked it into his hand. In any event, Saints have it. Third down and 15. Forcade running for his life. Nunn is chasing him. His pass is out of bounds downfield. Eric Martin was the closest man, but Freddie Joe Nunn gave chase, and that'll bring up fourth down.
Saints quickly to the line of scrimmage, and wisely so on that last play, quite possibly limiting the opportunity for the replay official to take a peek at that play.
Tommy Barnhart is in to kick for the fourth time for the Saints. By Sikahema to receive. Cardinals put on good pressure on Forcade in that series. Flag is down. They're going to call it back. Eldonta Osborne anxious to get in on the kicker. Might have jumped off sides for the Cardinals. Boy, Brock is exhausted on the sideline, isn't he, for the Saints?
Encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Not going to change all that much.
Contact, number 24, defense, encroachment.
Obviously, they don't blow the whistle unless there is contact because the defensive players have an opportunity to get back. Adjustments being made for the linemen.
Fourth down and 10. A little more room for Barnhart. Good kick. Fine kick by Barnhart. Here's Sikahema with a return from his 25. It up to the 33-yard line. And it was John Tice, the backup tight end, who brought Sikahema down. We'll be back. Pretty good relationship.
Well, he certainly has at Rosenbaugh with his center right there, Bill Lewis. They room together on the road, room together in training camp. And Rosenbaugh, we talked to the two of them yesterday. Rosenbaugh said, boy, he says, sometimes it's a little strange on game day. He says, because Bill is out there in his underwear practicing his stance. Now, you can visualize a 6'5" center, 290 pounds. He says, I'm just out there loosening up my legs. He said, working to see if I can get him to work. Interesting thoughts, perhaps.
You can visualize it.
Well, yes, I'm not so sure that it's the greatest of sights.
Whether you want to.
Lewis, by the way, one of the bigger centers in the NFL. We talked about Joel Hilgenberg being the smallest. And, of course, last year, Kennard was the center. He's now moved over to the left guard, and he was by far the biggest center in the NFL.
Former Raider taken into Plan B. First down on the 33 for the Cardinals, who trail the Saints 7-0. Rosenbaugh, the draw play to Johnny Johnson. Johnson gets by a couple of tacklers and fights his way to the first down. He carried Gene Atkins a couple of yards to the 45 and a pickup of 12. 61 yards gained today so far for Johnny Johnson.
Coming from the left side, watch the pull, offside, tackle and guard. Lance Smith, Tootie Robbins, good play by Sharp. Robbins gets a block there, but look at the leg drive here. Johnny Johnson, boy, has such powerful legs. Able to break those tackles and get the extra yardage.
Ricky Prohl, by the way, is the third wide receiver in there for the Cardinals. First down on their 45. Johnson this time up the middle. Gets maybe two. Brett Maxey and Wayne Martin were there to meet him.
Johnny Johnson. I asked him, I said, Johnny, is this the way you expected it to be? And he said, well, I don't know. He said, I really didn't know what to expect coming into professional football. He's had a lot of nice response from the San Jose area, from his friends and family. Very excited at the way he's been able to start his rookie year.
And Ron Wolfley's comparison to a possible Dickerson style may not be that far off, as he told him. Second down and 8. Again, they go to Johnson. He's the workhorse. And he'll come up with a third down and about 4 after that gain. Ricky Jackson was in on the stop. There's our score and our time with 4 minutes gone by here in the third quarter.
Jackson with that mask reinforced. Of course, last year, an accident that could have taken his life. A lot of people said he'll be out 6 weeks, 8 weeks. He missed 2 games. The only 2 games he has missed in his entire career. He is one tough son of a gun.
Third down and 4. Rosenbaugh trying to avoid a rush. Gets by Wilkes and goes out of bounds. Good for the first down. He had to beat Wilkes around right in, and he did. And it'll be a Cardinal first down into Saint territory.
In the growing process, Tim Rosenbaugh's got to learn how to use his mobility. He certainly does a good job here. Gets away from the rush. Martin, number 93, swilling, coming hard with good speed, and then makes a good decision. Running out of bounds, picking up the first down, and then going out of bounds.
12-yard pickup. First down on the 37. make the draw play. Rosenbaugh with the rollout has a lot of time. Up the middle, wide open. Ricky Prohl, touchdown, Cardinals. 37-yard touchdown strike. And that is Tim Rosenbaugh's first touchdown pass.
Ricky Prohl, who's had such a fine beginning as a rookie receiver. Little rollout here. Rosenbaugh looking to the right-hand side, waits, and then Prohl, who's broken the containment, gotten away from Maxey, number 43. Atkins slow coming over. Fine touchdown. Time to celebrate for Tim Rosenbaugh.
Al Del Greco with Tom Tupa holding. Ties the game. So Ricky Prohl, that's his first NFL touchdown reception, and we're all even. NFL touchdown pass thrown by Tim Rosenbaugh. First NFL reception for a score by Ricky Prohl, and the Cardinals have tied it up 7-7. Al Del Greco will be kicking off. Vince Buck and Gene Atkins are back for the Saints. Short kick. And it's going to be Atkins at the 10. That'll be a good return by Atkins. Bringing it out to the 33. Don Holmes makes the stop, a 23-yard return. But Rosenbaugh had a great play to tie the game.
Rosenbaugh with time to throw. Ricky Jackson, 80.5 lifetime sacks, but look who's blocking on him. The rookie, Johnny Johnson, does a great job there. Rosenbaugh staying in that pocket, taking all the time in the world, and he knew the minute he threw that was a touchdown. This is a confident young quarterback. He's got to be thrilled with that first NFL TD.
7-7, and now the Saints first down. For Cage. Lofting it to Perriman. He can't hold on. Jay Taylor was on his back defending, and Taylor is injured on that play.
We mentioned that Taylor has a bad arch, a problem there. I don't know if that's what he has heard on this situation.
Perriman is also down, Merlin.
Perriman up now. Let's look at the end of the play. Taylor goes up over the top right here. See if we can see what happens to his legs. I think maybe when he came down on that foot, he may have hurt himself right at the end of that play. The foot stuck on the turf, and this happens so often. This is why the players hate artificial turf. The feet just don't plow through it.
And Perriman's a little shaken up, but he's on his feet at least. Taylor on the sidelines, coming out after being shaken up. Marcus Turner replaces him, and Perriman also goes out. It'll be second down and 10 for the Saints on their 34-yard line. Hilliard and Hayward are the setbacks. Dalton Hilliard gets to the 36-yard line, and Harvey and Freddie Joe Nunn.
I think maybe we could go back to that last play and just show the end of it. And again, this is why the players hate the artificial turf. Watch number 27 in the white as he rolls over. Watch his foot as it sticks into the turf. And then there's no give in the turf. And watch what happens to that leg. Right there, the leg doubles up underneath him. Let it go. Let it continue. It just jerks that leg right up underneath him. That's an injured foot already, and you can see him. He is in pain. But the players hate playing on the artificial turf. A lot of injuries right off the turf without contact.
Third down and 8 for Cade. Pumps once. Completes to Lonzel Hill. And a first down just short of midfield. A 13-yard pickup to Hill. Tim McDonald was there to make the tackle. That's Hill's second catch of the game.
He has been a more or less forgotten receiver here early. I'm sure he's thrilled to be back into the game plan.
Saints have never really had outstanding wide receivers. They've had workable and adequate ones, but never outstanding ones, and maybe the quarterback was the problem in there.
Now, their philosophy is to control the football, which they have done effectively over the last 3 seasons. We showed you what's happened to them this year. They'd like to get back to that kind of football.
On first down, Ruben Mays has come in the lineup, and the pass in and out of the hands of Perriman.
You mentioned that Perriman may have been hurt on the last play. A few plays ago, he's coming out. He's taking himself back out of the game. course, that ball may have knocked the air out of him.
It was like a 95 mile per hour, and he was only about 8 yards down. I want to remind you that the second half of today's doubleheader on CBS Sports, you'll either see the Eagles and the Rams in L.A. The Eagles need a win if their team ever needed a win, and Atlanta, San Francisco coming up in the second half of our doubleheader. Second down and 10 on the 49-yard line of New Orleans. Hayward goes in motion. Hilliard runs and is brought down by Eric Hill. A good tackle by Hill.
Eric Hill, one of those 3 number 1 choice linebackers, and we mentioned how he's maturing. I think as a linebacker, the toughest job is playing that 4-3 middle linebacker spot. So many important reads that you have to be able to make and do it instinctively. There's no time to think on the field. This young man's certainly making great progress in that area. He's coming home, too, Louisiana State.
Right. Hill, by the way, Hilliard, I should say, has averaged less than 3 yards a carry. But planning to be a ball control offense today. Fort Cade might have taken some steps back. We have like 9 flags thrown. The pass intended for Perriman, but there were at least 3 penalty markers down.
There may have been a whistle before that play was underway.
There is no play. False start. Number 11 on the quarterback, pulling back too soon, creating a false start. Third down.
It's third down. Certainly, third down does bring out the emotion for everyone.
He didn't gargle this morning.
No, he didn't.
And if Tom White had, it wouldn't have come out that way.
He sets the pressure in Fort Cade. Even though he's been able to complete some passes and has a touchdown, I'm sure he has not yet gotten back into the flow of things. And he is a streak quarterback. In the last 3 games last year, he was as hot as any quarterback in football. And I'd like to see him here in New Orleans and among his teammates. I'd like to see that go back.
Third and long for Fort Cade. He's under deep pressure. And he completes it to John Tice. They're going to be well short of first down yardage, but he got a lot of it back. And a penalty marker is down. We're going to have an unsportsmanlike conduct at least come out of this.
I think we're going to have a dead ball foul, which means that it won't give the ball back to the Saints. But in a physical game, you're going to have some repercussions, and the Saint offensive line looks to me like they have made a pact. They're going to be down there blocking today.
Here's an angry young man today. Steve Trapillo has been in a few of those battles.
That's twice that we've seen him in fisticuffs. Kent Harvey angry as he comes off the line.
And that's what the call's going to be.
Unsportsmanlike conduct right there. You can't bang somebody with the ball. Trapillo there to say, hey, you can't hit my guy with the ball. I don't blame him for that.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 56, Phoenix, 15 yards, first down.
Dead ball foul. I said it wouldn't change the possession, but it was going to be fourth down. Of course, they still have the ball, so it will be first down. Had it been on the fourth down, then the ball would have gone over because it was a dead ball foul.
And you have to give some credit to Fort Cade here because he was really in deep trouble way back at about the 20-25-yard line, and he found Tice. And Tice got a lot of that yardage back. And as a result, personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, and a first down for the Saints on the Cardinal 32. Jay Taylor is back in the game at cornerback for Phoenix. Reuben Mays with his first carry of the game. And the crowd loved it as he picks up 7 yards or so. Lonnie Young on the stop.
Reuben Mays running in behind Steve Trapillo, 65, and Mays in 4 years, 2 Achilles repairs and a major knee surgery. He's back 100% physically, but has been a little tender in his running. He's running with power and with authority there.
Back actually ran him out of bounds. Lonnie Young was also involved. It'll be second down and 2 on the 24-yard line. 7-7 to score. Saints threatening here with 5:48 to go in the third quarter. Mays with a fine run and a good hold. Opened up by the offensive line as a first down just inside the 15, and Lonnie Young made the tackle, pickup of 9.
When Reuben Mays was setting records at Washington State, one of his biggest fans was Tim Rosenbach. He said, I was in high school. I used to sneak in to watch this man practice. He said, just to watch him run was a treat. Well, Mays, if he can continue this comeback and continue to run this way, a welcome treat for New Orleans fans and New Orleans coaches as well. 2 runs, 17 yards, big average so far.
First down. Hayward in motion. Here's Mays. Working with Mays in the backfield as he fights his way to the 10-yard line. Jim Waller, tackle, making the stop for the Cardinals. 22 yards on 3 carries for Reuben Mays, and he has really given the Saints ground game a shot in the arm. Hilliard has been struggling.
We mentioned those big linemen up front for this New Orleans Saint team. Joel Hilgenberg, just like a little 727 in between some wide bodies, a bunch of DC-10s and 747s there.
Throwing an air bud.
That's at least.
Second and 5. They're going with a hot hand. Reuben Mays for the 5. Touchdown, Saints.
Wide bodies up front, some of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL. 85, Obi Brenner, great block. Great block, Dombrowski inside. There's Brenner, 85, opening things up with a shot on Freddie Joe Nunn. Receivers downfield to block, and Reuben Mays, touchdown.
And Morten Andersen, good man to have, looking for the point. Barnott, Hunter holds, and the Saints lead it now 14-7. Rookie of the year in 1986. And Merlin mentioned the problems, surgery to the knees, and his first touchdown since late in the 1988 season.
A Pro Bowl running back, one of the best in football until the injuries began to take him down.
And Morten Andersen prepares to kick off, and this crowd excited now with the Saints scoring 2 touchdowns after being shut out coming into the game, and Ricky Prohl will down it in the end zone for a touchback.
There's a final tag to that story of Rosenbach and Mays. Mays was telling me that when Rosenbach arrived at Washington State to go to school, he was still there, of course. Mays, Rosenbach, cocky young kid, came out to work with the vets. They were working out with a track coach. Rosenbach remembered. He said, that guy was a nut. He was a decathlete by the name of Rick Sloan, and he ran him so hard that the first day Rosenbach came out, he threw up about 5 or 6 times, and Mays said the kid disappeared, didn't come back for a long time, and Rosenbach was upset. He said, yeah, but I did come back, which he did. Came back to break all the records there at Washington State.
Injured Cardinal. As soon as we know, we'll tell you. And he has come back in the NFL as well, and today throwing his first NFL career touchdown pass.
Is that Wolfley down on the ground?
Yes, it is. It is Ron Wolfley.
Boy, that is not good news. That's one of the toughest guys you ever put a helmet on right there. When he's on the ground, you got to shoot him to put him on the ground.
Jinx is living as a special teams performer. It's given him a lot of pride, and he goes off on his own power. Seen as the Louisiana Superdome here in New Orleans, where the Saints, looking for their first win of the year, leading 14-7 with 4:09 remaining in the third quarter. John Forcade, touchdown pass to Eric Martin, and Reuben Mays with a 10-yard run. First down and 10 on the 20. Johnny Johnson. And the Saints defense is ignited. Sam Mills that time.
There's that little pocket linebacker. We talked about him being an undersized linebacker, and he's had to make up for his lack of size with great technique, speed, body position, right in underneath Johnny Johnson to take him down on that play. They call him the General. General Mills.
I saluted him on the field before the game.
A lot of people do.
By the way, Dennis Smith was in at H-back with Ron Wolfley shaken up. Ernie Jones in at wide receiver at the top. Second down and 11. Rosenbaugh's pass, caught by Jones, and a fine catch with Milton Mack on his back, and a penalty marker now at the 40-yard line where he caught the pass. Let's see who it's on. It would be a gain of 19 if it's against the Saints. This is a very big call, considering the tempo of this game. It'll be against New Orleans, apparently a face mask call.
Unusual, because it was against one of the defensive backs.
Face mask, number 24 defense, 5 yards, first down.
Milton Mack. I haven't seen many of. I've seen him get a face mask on the tackling side of it, but never on the running side of it. That's a favorite trick, by the way, of offensive linemen, to grab the face mask of the defensive lineman, stop him momentarily, make him reset, rebalance. Apparently that's what Milton Mack did.
There's the play, Cardinals. Yes, it is. There's the penalty story. First down at the 44-yard line. Rosenbaugh will run and get good yardage. He has the first down and smartly slides at the 35. He had gotten the job done. 21-yard gain, and the Cardinals back in it here.
Knowing when to run, when to stay in the pocket. A good decision here. It opens up, and Rosenbaugh is off. He sees open field ahead. And again, the tendency, he's a young quarterback who wants to run over defensive backs. Wisely. Takes it to the ground. That's smart decision for a young quarterback.
He has picked up 35 yards on the ground today. He had 50 against Philadelphia last year. First and 10. Johnny Johnson, and we'll have a flag and a penalty against the Cardinals, apparently, before the snap. Illegal procedure.
Rosenbaugh has almost a 10-yard average on the run. Now that's great average. That's even better than Elway.
Illegal procedure on the center, 5 yards, still first down.
In fact, even better than Elway in his younger years when he was even much faster than he is today. I like Rosenbaugh. I like what he does in there. I like his attitude. Just watching him come on the field. He came on with the rest of the team, and everybody walking about the same pace as they headed for the locker room. He was walking about a half a step faster, just charging across the field. Couldn't wait to get his uniform.
He's pumped up. No question. First and 15, back to the 40-yard line. Rosenbaugh overthrows Jones. They had a mix-up there. Toy Cook was defending on the play. But, you know, he has been sacked heavily the first two games. Not today, though.
Has not been touched today, and part of that because he's been able to run out of there. But he gets great time here from his offensive line. No one even close. Missed connection. Again, in the offenses that are run today, in this offense that Joe Bugle brought over from Washington, those receivers have to read on the run. And the quarterback has to be inside of their heads. He has to know exactly where they're headed. Didn't work that time.
Second down and 15. Rosenbaugh tries to thread the needle. Ernie Jones incomplete. Milton Mack and Toy Cook defending. That'll bring up third down.
Showed you some great arm strength on that play. A catchable pass and thrown to a tightly covered receiver. That's as well as I've seen you throw the ball on that kind of play in the two games that we've had a chance to watch him play.
Well, they saw what Jones could do on the pass, in which Mack was called for the face mask after the reception. Now they double covered him.
This third and long, an area in which Rosenbaugh had trouble early in the preseason and in the first couple of ball games, but that's true of every quarterback.
There's pressure. Rosenbaugh loses the ball. Fumble. Still loose. Several Cardinals, including Rosenbaugh, had a chance to fall on it, but it slipped away. They're going to have to really wrestle through the athletes to find who recovered it.
Louis Sharp is trying to unsort him. He's going to go down and find out. And if it's the Saint that's got the ball, see if he can steal it back. Louis, I think the officials are supposed to do that. The Saints do have it.
There was a Saint defender who knocked it away from Rosenbaugh from behind to start all of the circus.
I think it was Swilling, the linebacker, coming from the backside.
Covered by New Orleans. First down.
And we have a injured Cardinal as well, and Ricky Jackson recovered it. Here's how it happened.
Actually, it's Troy Cook, number 41. Watch Cook. Reaches in with his left hand. Rosenbaugh able to get the ball back up, but it's knocked away for a second time. 57, Ricky Jackson, the man who knocked it away the second time. So he had it knocked out twice, and the second time was the killer.
And Tootie Robbins is the injured Cardinal.
Robbins, who played on an injured leg last week in the game against Philadelphia, stacked at the bottom of that pile with all the bodies on top of him. Hey, that's, if you're going to jump on a guy, you might as well jump on a big one, but he is an important part of that offensive line. Cardinals blessed with a very fine backup, however, to Joe Wolf, number 1 pick back in '89. They're looking to get him into the lineup, but Tootie is tough.
Wolf nearly won that job toward the end of the preseason schedule, but Robbins is still hurt, and a significant turnover because the Saints were sky high after that touchdown, and the Cardinals kind of deflated them starting from their own 20. And then they finally turned it over back to the Saints. So another opportunity going by the boards for the Cardinals. Robbins limps off. We want to remind you. Second half of our NFL doubleheader on CBS coming up. The Eagles against the Rams, or the Falcons against the 49ers. San Francisco's first look at Jerry Glanville's red gun offense.
And a revamped defense as well. Rams looking to give Buddy Ryan another black eye. They'd love to start the Eagles out 0-3. Eagles, on the other hand, would like to lump the Rams back into that 1-win, 2-loss crowd.
Keith Jackson back with the Eagles, and he'll be
That's a big help. That is a big help for Randall Cunningham. You had the feeling he was always looking for Jackson, who obviously wasn't there.
Ruben Mays has been the man Fort's been looking for. And another good run by Mays carries the ball into Cardinal territory. Anthony Bell and Ken Harvey make the tackle, and a gain of 6 that time, as we have now 1 minute to go in the third quarter.
So much of this game is confidence. The confidence you have in your body, being able to go. Tootie Robinson, you see it right there. He's tough. The other thing that will get him back into the ball game, he knows that if he comes out, Joe Wolf goes in.
We'll see how quickly he recovers from that. The clock has stopped with 54 seconds remaining in the half.
Official coming to the New Orleans bench for something.
And the Cardinal bench as well. Maybe
I think the phones are out. Yeah, if the phones go out on one side of the field, and apparently they are out on the Cardinal side of the field, then the other team is required to take off the headsets, not allowing an advantage to either side of the field. Now, suddenly you have to say, well, who's upstairs and who's downstairs? Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator for the Saints, is upstairs, but their offensive coordinator is downstairs, Carl Smith.
Second down and 4, Ruben Mays stopped for the first time by Freddie Joe Nunn, and a loss of about 3 yards that time. And the clock is continuing to run. Less than a half a minute to go.
Let's finish that thought. As Jerry Rome, the offensive coordinator for the Cardinals, is upstairs, and Joe Pasquale, the defensive coordinator, is downstairs. So just a flip-flop on the two sides. Some coaches obviously feel they can do a better job from the press box, and others from the side of the field.
And they're not going to get another play off. And the Saints will have the lead. And that's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Saints 14 and the Cardinals 7. And our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Who trailed the Saints 14-7 as we begin the fourth quarter. This is Dick Stockton along with Merlin Olsen as the Cardinals playing 3 tough road games in the first 3 weeks of the season finally come home next week. Third down and 5 for the Saints. At midfield, Dalton Hilliard back in the lineup for New Orleans. Used as a blocking back. Going up top. The pass caught by Turner. Big gain. A 46-yard gain. Jay Taylor on the tackle. Floyd Turner with a fine catch.
Turner streaking down the right-hand side of your screen. Forcade looks off the defense momentarily and finds Turner in the open. You can't throw the ball any better than that. Jay Taylor beaten on the play. John Forcade, and how does he feel about that? Well, you might guess. When you've taken as much heat as Forcade has, that's an opportunity to smile.
It'll be first and goal. Hayward and Reuben Mays. Hayward blocking for Reuben Mays, and he gets in for the touchdown. His second touchdown of the game, and that gives the Saints a 20-7 lead here. Less than a minute into the fourth quarter.
Reuben Mays coming back with a vengeance on this play. Excellent blocking right there. John Tice, 82 out in front. Craig Hayward, Ironhead, great block, and then just extra effort from Reuben Mays as he stretched into that end zone.
And his second touchdown today. Did not score, as you know, last year. And another Cardinal is injured. And it looks like Big Daddy Carl Hairston.
Well, with Bob Claspy out, he went out with a knee injury in the opener against Washington. Big Daddy has come in to take his place. His loss would really stretch the strength of the backups on this defensive line.
You know, Merlin, what's really interesting is that somehow in a lot of games, the first play of a fourth quarter or a second quarter normally is something big because they have time to set it up. And you wonder about defenses being on the lookout for that, although they did double cover Turner on that big pass play.
New Orleans has had trouble getting the ball deep downfield, and I'm sure that figured into that plan as well. No question that the Cardinals beginning to load up on the short plays, beginning to put people up to try and stop the running game. When you begin to pound, Reuben Mays coming in and beginning to help that offense roll, and they were getting a real roll with the running game, that pulls the defense up. You've got to start committing more and more people to run defense. The minute you do that, you open yourself for that kind of play.
Reuben Mays has gained 45 yards on 7 carries, and this game could be the rejuvenation and perhaps return to Reuben Mays, and no one could be happier than the Saints fans with what he has done for them.
You hear them shouting, Reuben, Reuben, a crowd favorite here. Well, there's another crowd favorite. Carl Hairston slowly to the sideline. Dick Chapura will come in. Dick Chapura, they picked him up off the waiver wire.
And he had a role in last week's win. Morten Andersen for the conversion. Tommy Barnhart will hold. And the kick is perfect. 21-7. The big play was Turner's 46-yard catch. But Mays capped it off. The Saints lead it 21-7. And interesting, you talked about how the Cardinals reacted to their euphoric victory over Philadelphia last week.
I think one of the toughest jobs for them this last week was to quit celebrating and get back to business. And their concentration has not been as good in this game as their coach would like it to be. And I'm sure Joe Beagle will be talking about it. A lot of miscues in this ball game. A lot of mistakes. In fact, if you take a look, you'll find that they have made the kinds of errors that will kill you. 1 turnover, 9 penalties, a missed field goal, a blocked field goal, 2 drop passes. That's not the mark of a well-coached team, a team that has got their concentration where it should be.
And before the Saints scored to break a 0-0 game, Del Greco had missed 2 field goals. One was blocked, but the Cardinals had 2 starting points in same territory. 21-7, Morten Andersen will be kicking off. Sikahema and Kroll are back deep. And it'll be Ricky Kroll at the 7-yard line. And moves it out to the 21.
Just as a final add to the note on the Cardinals not being able to get back to business, I don't blame them for wanting to celebrate. It had been a long time waiting for that victory, and especially when you got a new coach, a new system, you need something to start to build on. They got that in Philadelphia, and there's no question. It takes a while to get back and say, okay, yeah, but we got to go back. We got to go down to New Orleans.
Well, we saw Tootie Robbins back in there, right tackle, and Carl Hairston has a twisted right ankle, and he's all right, so he could get back. First down for the Cardinals on their 21. Loads of time remaining. Tim Rosenbaugh, first down in time, and he completes it to Roy Green. And the veteran, who had not caught a pass until today, carries it out to the 29, a gain of 8. Brett Maxey makes the tackle.
I asked him, I said, does it bother you? I said, your numbers have been so great over the years, and I said, you're just not getting called on. He said, you know what? He said, as long as we can win some games, I don't mind so much. But he said, my number's not getting called like it has in the past.
I'm not surprised with Roy Green's comments to you, though.
He's a very unselfish football player.
Second down and call it 1. Rosenbaugh again with time, and he's got Roy Green again. And he's got the first down. Pushed out of bounds by Toy Cook. He picks up 15. So they're calling Roy Green's number now.
If you don't have protection, you can't do this job. Number 67, watch Louis Sharp on Swilling right here. Sticks him, holds him out. And remember, he's got a bad left leg. It took him a long time to get back to the huddle. He is hurting out there, but he's still going and still doing a great job on an outstanding pass rush.
On the Cardinal 45, first down. Johnny Johnson started out promising, had a couple of blockers in front, but Ricky Jackson and Wayne Martin spoiled the party in a pickup of only 2.
One thing that bad left knee will do to Sharp is slow him down a little bit on the pull. And he was just a little late pulling through on that counter gap play. Johnson had to take the cut inside instead of being able to follow that muscle outside, and the play was shut down.
Second down and 8. Pressure on Rosenbaugh. Let's go. Single coverage and a great catch by Ernie Jones. He had Robert Massey right in his face, and Ernie Jones with his second outstanding reception of the game, good for 29 yards inside the 25 of the Saints.
Showing you some experience. Massey in his second year as a cornerback. He's a baby in this New Orleans secondary. Rosenbaugh did a great job of getting it off under pressure. But that's just great concentration from Ernie Jones. I mean, when you're covered that way and you can still keep your eye on that football and bring it in and lock it away, that's amazing.
First down on the 24. Saints lead 21-7. A lot of time, but this is a big series for the Cardinals. Pass to Ricky Prohl.
Reuben Mays starting to get back to his running form. 2 Achilles tendons. He's a good one. 2nd and 2 here for the Vikings.
Very un-rookie-like. I mean, he looks like a veteran receiver the way he plays.
Came in the game as the leading receiver for the Cardinals, and that's a mouthful considering that they have people like J.T. Smith and Roy Green.
Well, the other thing that Joe Bugle said, we're also finding out he's a great walking back, and he can run out of the backfield as well. They'll find new ways to use his talent.
There's Johnson, penalty marker down. It may be the Saints.
Swilling is offside from that right-hand side. He just got eager, dropped his head over, and that's going to pick a 5-yard gain without any work.
That's the call, and that'll bring up a second down and 2, as you mentioned earlier.
Offsides, number 56 defense, 5 yards, second down.
Big difference from 2nd and 2 and 2nd and 7.
Huge, huge difference. In fact, this almost becomes a throwaway down. The opportunity, if you wish to do it, to go right at the end zone, to go for the big play. I'm sure that that's what Jim Wilkes will be reminding folks of as he goes into the play, into step into his position. Piggy Goff, number 91, coming off. Wilkesby inside. Martin inside. The two linebackers drop down as defensive ends.
Johnson, the running back, goes nowhere, and the Saints forward wall. Sam Mills leads the charge and drives him back. And that'll bring up a third down, and it's not that easy now with third down coming up.
Very physical play by this New Orleans defense. They knew exactly where to be on that one and just threw Johnson backwards. Lots of bodies. What's that, about 8 guys on and off?
Well, they're bringing in a second tight end in Jordan. They have Wolfley, the H-back, and Anthony Thompson, their top pick out of Indiana, who's their short yardage running back now, the rookie. Third down and 2. Fumble. I think Rosenbaugh has it, but it'll be fourth down.
It depends. I didn't see a flag go down. It looked like someone may have jumped on that play, but maybe the center had the ball up a little early as well.
And now Joe Bugle faced with a 4th and 1. A lot of time left and down by 14 points.
Let's see what we can see here. Wolfley in motion across. Good snap by Lewis. He said he's never had any trouble getting the ball back to his quarterback, Rosenbaugh, but that one didn't work.
And they're going to go for it on 4th and 1.
Huge play here.
And it's Anthony Thompson. He may not have made it.
No way.
Gene Atkins came up from safety to hit him first, and I think that was the same play they were going to run before that fumble. And they definitely didn't make it. The Saints will take over on down. So once again, on a drive that started from the Phoenix 21, the Cardinals have missed another chance and still trail. And the Saints take over first down on their 15. After stopping the Cardinals, they had 2nd and 2 and did not score. Ruben Mays, off tackle. Good yardage and a first down for the Saints. Ken McDonald on the tackle, and you know New Orleans is going to keep the ball on the ground and chew up some time now.
You could almost feel Jim Morris saying, this is our kind of football. Control at the line of scrimmage. Great defensive play on that last series to shut it down. Watch the surge. Left-hand side of your screen. Look at the black shirts coming inside. Thompson a little tentative as he tries to get in behind Wolfley, but look how many defenders are in that hole waiting for him. It's Atkins, the first one to grab him, and then there are about 4 black shirts to help.
On the 26-yard line, this time Mays off the right side, and he drags Anthony Bell for a couple of yards and gets about 3. That's the time remaining, and that's what the Saints want to do, especially with Forcade shaky coming into this game. They don't want him flailing away out there.
We talked a lot about their running backs in this game. We don't give nearly enough credit to Craig Hayward, the back that is blocking for them. Well, he is a back, but he's not quite a back. Ironhead is 5'11", 255 pounds. I asked him, I said, what's the most you've ever weighed? He said, well, in my bowl year in college, he said, I got up to about 285, 290. He's down to 255 now, but he is a load as a blocker.
2nd down and 6. Hayes close to another first down for the Saints. He is really having a game to remember for him, coming back from knee injury, and he may be in response to Gil Fenerty's performance last week to say, wait a second, Fenerty may see more action. I'm going to get back in the mix.
Well, Fenerty with 50 yards and 9 carries, the highlight certainly of the running game last week. But Mays, I asked him yesterday when we talked to him in the training room, I said, are you 100%? He said, yes. He said, I'm really physically 100%. He said, I haven't been able to have an impact day yet, but physically I'm ready to go. Well, he certainly has proven that today, and you've sensed the reaction from this crowd. They love it.
Gets the call again, and Mays brings it out to the 43-yard line. Eric Hill on the tackle, and so far today Mays has averaged over 6 yards a carry.
the very beginning of the day, we talked about the changes that this New Orleans staff had made. And again, it was aimed at taking some of the heat off John Fourcade. A plan that would cause them to run the ball more aggressively, to run the play-action passes, not to put the heat on the quarterback. Well, this is the exact kind of game that they hoped they could play. They are controlling the line of scrimmage. They are controlling the football now.
Second down and 6 on the 42-yard line. 5.5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The pitch to Ruben Mays. Finds an opening, and Mays gets the second effort. First down, just short of midfield. Lonnie Young on the tackle. And I know one guy's going to get the game ball if the Saints win today. That's no big secret.
Great block by Craig Hayward on that last play, but Ruben Mays continues to hammer. Already 75 yards. He didn't get in the game until we were well underway. Dalton Hilliard started things off, but it's been Ruben Mays that's been the hammer here today. Here's that block on that last play by number 34, Ironhead Hayward. He leapt in there so fast you almost saw him disappear, but he is a chunk.
He goes out, and Dalton Hilliard goes in motion now for New Orleans. Mays, the carry. He may be getting a little bit tired as he is upended in a loss of a couple of yards. Freddie Jonan and Anthony Bell that time, but penalty marker is also thrown as the clock stops with 4:29 showing. Preliminary indications are it's against Phoenix.
It was a late flag. Too many men on the field?
I think, yeah.
12, well, there are 12 out there still. A quick count would indicate.
Delay a game, 12 men on the field, defense, 5.
And we have a tie football game.
Got him on 11.
I like the fact they didn't even try to hide it. He stayed out there after the penalty. He didn't even want to try to run off and make it look like.
Now here comes somebody, and you got to send somebody out, guys. Okay, I'll go.
It'll be a first down and 4. Lynch, the extra defensive back, the ball on the 45-yard line of the Cardinals. And here's Ruben Mays. Good opening again, and Mays has a first down. He has carried on all 6 plays on this drive and has been successful just about every time. And the first down of the 40, Nick Shapura and Lonnie Young there.
I mentioned the strength of these tight ends as blockers. Both Hovey Brenner and John Tice, both huge. 6'5", 249 for Tice, 6'5", 245 for Brenner. In fact, both the kinds of tight ends that, if they wanted to, could move inside and bulk up and be linemen. A great help when you're trying to control the football.
Garth Jackson, David Bavaro in his extra backers, and a big run for the Cardinals against Fourcade. First down on the 40. The clock has been running and effective ball control. Once again, Mays, and under 4 minutes, actually 3:35 to be exact.
I'll tell you how serious the Saints are about ball control. They have 3 tight ends in on that last play on a 1st and 10. Scales, the number 3 tight end. They put Tice out at the plane. Ruben Mays. Boy, the crowd chanting. They want some more. A big Ruben. Ruben's getting a little tired. He needs a blow.
83 yards on 14 carries for Ruben Mays. Second down and 7 on the 37-yard line. And Dalton Hilliard will lose a couple. We'll bring up third and about 9, but the clock continues to run. Ken Harvey with a fine play. He made some great contributions early on special teams, and now the Cardinals want to stem the tide a little bit, use their first time out of the second half. We'll be back to the Superdome in just a moment. Next Saturday on CBS Sports. Third down and 9 at the 39-yard line. Timeouts remaining. The Cardinals just used 1. Fourcade getting a rush from McDonald. even more of a light. Freddie Joe Nunn.
Freddie Joe over to pick Fourcade up and to apologize, but Fourcade dragging his left arm as he heads back, came down hard on the track that goes along the edge, the hard surface. McDonald missing on the sideline.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 78, late hit and shoved out of bounds.
You see it right there as Fourcade breaks away. The chase is on. I'll tell you, Fourcade just barely out of bounds, and you see him come down on that. That's cement out there. That's what they have underneath this turf. Fourcade came down hard. None, I don't think, realizing where he was on the field.
It's a first down, of course, following the penalty, and now the Saints have it at the 21-yard line.
Real opportunity here, up 21-7. You put another one on the board with only a quarter left. Puts real heat on this Cardinal offense.
Joe Bugle will point to those 11 penalties. Dalton Hilliard. Hilliard with a penalty marker down. Fumbles the ball, but I believe the whistle is blown, and there is still another Cardinal shaken up now. They've had a few of them today, and the whistle was blown and down on the 6, and it may be an injury that's a tough one here. Tim McDonald shaken up, and they really want help in a hurry.
McDonald in intense pain as he lays on the ground there. Their Pro Bowl safety from last year and such an important part.
Illegal formation on the offense. Delay, 12 men on the defense. Will replay it down. The fouls off.
Second time today the Cardinals have had 12 men on. They're going to replay it, but Tim McDonald, that would be a very tough loss for the Cardinals.
Let's see if we can see the injury. McDonald, 46, gets a hold of Hilliard there, trying to strip the football. Goes down behind Hilliard right here. I think what's going to happen, he's going to end up at the bottom of the stack. Well, hard to tell. So he rolled over. He is up. Trainer John Omohundro there on his left-hand side. Good news just to see him moving under his own power. Another angle of that same play, of course, the play negated by offsetting penalties. You get a sense for the running power, tremendous speed and quickness. Dalton Hilliard. There is McDonald at the bottom of that stack, rolling over on that shoulder. The best news is he appears to be all right.
There have been a few Cardinals today, Judy Robbins and Hairston and McDonald, who have been shaken up, and there's the drive right now. They'll replay that now.
This Cardinal team has fine frontline people. They do not have a lot of quality depth, so injuries really hurt them.
First and 10 on the 21 again. Dalton Hilliard again. And this time Hilliard takes it to the 16 or 17-yard line, a gain of 4. And they got to separate Dombrowski, another one of the offensive linemen. And Michael Zordich made the tackle on the play.
Monty Young nose-to-nose with Dombrowski. Dombrowski is a little bit larger than he is. Dombrowski at 6'5" and a little over 300.
Phoenix Cardinals.
Cardinals will use up their second timeout. Here's Fourcade, and you're right, that left arm has got to be hurting him a bit.
Tough quarterback, but he is hurting.
Well, tonight on CBS, this week 60 Minutes reports a story about some Green Berets so stunning that at first they didn't believe it. Green Berets selling guns to the Japanese mafia, members of the high command covering it up. Well, 60 Minutes opens a can of worms tonight, and that's followed by Murder, She Wrote. And then it's the CBS Sunday movie, Leona Helmsley, The Queen of Mean. That's all coming up tonight on CBS.
I can't wait to see Suzanne Plachette as Leona Helmsley. That's not Leona there, no. She may be mean enough to be Leona, but not Leona. No. Nor is that Suzanne Plachette. I understand that's a movie we all ought to catch. Not only the story, but Suzanne Plachette's addition to it.
Right. Very versatile actress. Second down and 5. And the pitch goes to Ruben Mays. Back in the game, and Mays carries it to the 13-yard line. It'll be third down and short. Freddie Joe Nunn makes the stop, and we're going to have the break now for our 2-minute warning. Saints have this game safely away, barring a miracle.
Timeout. 2-minute warning.
In the fourth quarter.
You need miracles right now. 21-7. New Orleans threatening to make it even more. And they have been able to do today what they had hoped to do. To establish the ground game, take control of the line of scrimmage, and score some touchdowns. Their first of the NFL season after 3 games. And Joe Bugle, after having such an exciting win last week in Philadelphia, back to the drawing board. Back to talking to his young team about putting it all together and eliminating the mistakes.
3rd down and 3 on the 14. Here's Ruben Mays. Great cutting ability, and he's going to score his 3rd touchdown of the day. What a show. Touchdown. He has scored the last 3 Saint touchdowns.
The bond between the running back and his lineman cemented by blocking like this and by cuts. Ruben Mays back against the grain. Just a great job of running the football. That's the kind of football that'll make all the guys in black and all the people sitting in this stand happy today.
And the first time in Ruben Mays' career that he has scored 3 touchdowns in 1 game, accepts congratulations from his teammates as Morten Andersen adds the 28 points. And a big day for New Orleans as Ruben Mays gains 99 yards, all in the second half. And that's got to bring smiles to the Saint fans and Jim Mora, who's not a guy who smiles all that much.
Long faces, as you would expect. On the Cardinal side of the field, they will be angry at themselves when they look at the blown opportunities of this first half.
You're right. They had better chances than the Saints in the first half and wound up trailing 7-0.
They had an opportunity to really jump out early and get going, and they blew that to watch the Saints finally come back and take charge here in the second half. And they did it the old-fashioned way. They earned it, and they earned it on the ground.
Well, we're seeing more as Saints winning game number 1 this year. A couple other NFC West teams in action. You'll see either Philadelphia against the LA Rams coming up next, or the Atlanta Falcons against the San Francisco 49ers in the second half of our CBS doubleheader. But Jim Mora, credit him because he's a steady guy, no flash. Lays it close to the vest and said, we're not going to panic, we're going to follow what we're doing, and his team played like that today.
They certainly did, and I think that's so important to keep that kind of stability and that kind of focus. It's hard to do when everybody is screaming for your hide and when you're having the kind of problems that have beset the Saints in the last 2 weeks.
Morten Andersen kicking off deep into the end zone, and Ricky Cole will down in there for a touchback. And I still think the Saints are going to be trying to get on that market to deal for a quarterback, despite the fact that Forcade was improved today. Don't you?
Well, in my conversations with Jim Finks, and I think I said early in the game that deal could be consummated as early as next week. What Finks said was that he planned to talk to Jerry Jones again next week. They left their negotiations at that point. And it is possible, I suppose, that you would see that kind of trade. Forcade's play today stalls off a little bit of the immediacy of that problem. But with a week off, with a bye this week, they've got to figure out something. And if that means getting Bobby Hebert back in here, that's one thing they could do. If it means bringing Walsh in and beginning to train him, that's something else. But you're not going to bring a rookie in here and plug him into this offense instantly.
First down on the 20. And the pass is caught by Cole. At the 25, the clock continues to run. The coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS is Charles H. Milton III, and this telecast was produced by Richie Science and directed by Andy Kindle. And there are more that had a role in this game, and we'll tell you after this play. Second down and 4. Rosenbaugh may have a first down. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. The senior producer of CBS Sports is David Winter, and the executive producer is Ted Shaker. Penalty marker down. Johnson. And the clock stops at 59 seconds to go. It'll be against the Cardinals. Now, he's had a tough schedule so far.
It really has. And it doesn't get easier as he goes home for the opener at home against the Washington
Illegal
Redskins.
use of the hands, the head, number 67 offense, still third down.
There will be one ally there to help them. I'm talking to some of the Phoenix players about the temperature. They said, well, it's going to be cooler, probably about 107. I'm sure the Washington Redskins are going to be delighted to hear that. But it's going to work in their favor. They're a well-conditioned team. They've been working out in the heat, and it should be difficult for teams coming in over the next few weeks.
Third down and 11 for Rosenbaugh. Pass is complete to Walter Reed. Now, if you're the Saints, do you want to buy next week after you finally get it going?
It's an interesting question. I mean, nobody really knew how these buys were going to work. I mean, I think you would have liked to have had the buy late in the season, although there are teams, the Rams, for example, who've had so many injury problems, who are delighted to have that early buy. The Saints, I think, with this win, would have preferred to keep that momentum going and go on into next week. But that's the luck of the draw. You just don't know how it's going to work out.
Fourth down and 5 with 51 seconds to go. Rosenbaugh, I believe that was trapped by
It
Roy
looked like
Green.
it skipped off the ground, but the officials would be ruling it as a completed pass. Maybe we can get a peek at it. It definitely did look like a trapped ball.
16-yard pickup.
Just the end of that last play. Does it kiss off the ground? Well,
Close. Deep pass intended for Green is incomplete.
it looked to be a catch.
You know what? We'll give Roy Green. Give him.
Green is happy to get a few today. One more chance to see the end of that play. The officials with a good view, and they called it a catch. Looking from a slightly different angle, you'll get a... Does it come up off the ground? I think it's a catch. Good catch by Roy Green. Good concentration on that play, but kind of non-impact kind of play.
Well, we never doubted that it was a catch, did we? Rosenbaugh throws it out of bounds. 14 seconds remain. 28-7. New Orleans leading, and Reuben Mays getting 99 yards and scoring 3 touchdowns. The story of the game, and great Saints defense when they needed it. The Saints D was there.
Joe Bugle will go home to do the same thing that Jim Mora has done the past couple of weeks, to look at a loss and try and find some positives out of it. This is a man that deals in the positives. Not going to be as easy this week as it was last week.
Rosenbaugh on third down, and that's caught by Ricky Prohl. The first down, but that's all she wrote. Now Rosenbaugh wants a timeout, and he gets it with 2 seconds to go.
Now that's a rookie, but I say great.
Yeah, I do too.
You're not going to win the game.
Phoenix, that's their third timeout.
But you know what Rosenblatt is getting here? He's getting a little experience at operating with that clock ticking down, even though it's not going to impact the outcome of this game. You run a play with this kind of pressure, this kind of situation, and maybe you learn something that will help you later on.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he's aware of the clock, and that's going to come in handy when the game means something later on in the season.
Jim Mora is saying, sure, go ahead and call timeout. Oh, they got him on the sideline. Little Gatorade bath. Jim Mora, very welcome, I'm sure.
He'll take one every time.
You don't dump it on him when you're losing. I'm sure he'll take that bath every week if you give it to him.
2 seconds remaining, and Jim Mora has this team back on track.
You think there are enough Saints back toward the goal line?
Try 9 or 8. There's the pass into the end zone, and it is intercepted. So credit the interception to Benny Thompson, and the game is over. Big game for Reuben Mays, 3 scores. And so for Merlin Olsen, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from the Superdome. The final score, Saints 28, Cardinals 7. Stay tuned. Coming up next, it's game 2 of the doubleheader as the Eagles battle the Rams or the Falcons take on the 49ers. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after these words from your local station.